Welcome to another episode of Books and Bytes.
Great to be here.
Today we're diving into Gillian Flynn's Gone Girl, and this isn't just going to be a plot recap.
No, definitely not. We want to get under the skin of it.
Exactly. We're unpacking the core elements that really made this novel, well, a cultural phenomenon. It still sparks so much debate.
It really does.
We'll be dissecting the intricate narrative, those unreliable voices guiding us.
The narrators are key.
And the novel's sharp insights into marriage, the media, and how we kind of construct our identities.
Yeah, all those layers.
So, our mission.
To figure out why it hit such a nerve.
Precisely.
Okay, so where do we start? That initial setup is immediately striking, isn't it?
It really is. You're just dropped right in.
Right into the aftermath. Amy Dunne disappears. It's their 5th wedding anniversary.
And the scene itself is unsettling. Signs of a struggle.
Clear signs. And suspicion almost instantly falls on her husband, Nick.
Which Flynn handles brilliantly with those dual narratives right from the get-go.
Yeah, you've got Nick's present-day perspective very much in the moment.
And then alongside that, excerpts from Amy's diary.
Which paints a very different picture, at least at first.
Oh, absolutely. Those early diary entries. It's almost like a fairy tale, isn't it? The New York beginning.
That charming meet-cute, the witty banter. It feels like soulmates finding each other.
Yeah, really intense connection. But then it's sharply contrasted with what comes later in the diary.
After the move to Missouri.
Exactly. That growing disillusionment. It's driven by the recession, Nick's mom being sick.
And their money troubles, her trust fund going into his bar. That's a big point of contention.
Definitely. And we also get those early mentions of the Amazing Amy books.
Ah, yes. Amazing Amy. That casts a long shadow.
It feels like this foundational layer, right? A carefully constructed public image from childhood. It's quite a stark juxtaposition.
Absolutely. That book series sets this almost impossible standard for the real Amy. It inevitably looms over her marriage.
And you see that shift in the diary entries from Missouri.
You really do. Amy writes about feeling increasingly isolated.
And Nick, through her eyes anyway, seems emotionally distant. Maybe even menacing.
It's all through her subjective lens, of course, but it's this meticulously crafted initial picture that just sets the stage perfectly.
For the bombshell.
The seismic shift, yeah. Which lands, what, about midpoint?
Around then, yeah. And the narrative just does a complete 180. It's this huge revelation.
It completely reframes everything you thought you knew about Amy's disappearance.
Everything. It's not what it seemed at all.
Not even close. And then we start to see the unveiling of, well, the true Amy.
And just how shockingly elaborate her whole plan is.
It's a genuine narrative masterstroke. It forces you, the reader, to reconsider every single detail you've absorbed.
Every assumption. Which brings us to that narrative structure itself, the alternating perspectives of Nick and Amy. It's just fundamental.
It really is. And their unreliability isn't just a gimmick, to create suspense.
Not much deeper than that.
It forces us to actively question everything, to recognize how subjective truth is, at least within the story.
You're constantly shifting between these two biased accounts.
And neither gives you the full picture. You can't fully trust either of them.
It keeps you totally on edge. And the characters themselves, Amy and Nick, incredibly layered.
Complex, certainly. Even if their, let's say, development takes some pretty dark turns.
It feels like they're constantly performing roles, doesn't it?
Oh, completely. It's all performance.
Nick plays the affable husband, the grieving spouse. Amy plays the cool girl, the perfect wife, the victim.
These personas, these carefully constructed identities, they seem absolutely central to why their marriage just falls apart.
You think?
I do. Amy especially is like an architect of personas. It's quite remarkable in a chilling way.
We see the cool girl designed to snag Nick.
Then the seemingly happy wife in her diary, which we later find out is, well, not quite accurate.
Right. And then the convincingly distraught, abducted woman when she comes back.
Nick's maybe less obviously performative, but he definitely puts on different faces too.
Especially with the media and the police, yeah.
It makes someone like Detective Boney stand out, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, she seems genuinely committed to just finding the actual truth, wading through all these illusions they're both creating.
That's a good point. She's kind of the anchor to reality.
In a way. And the themes that bubble up from all this, they really hit home.
Like the whole idea of constructed identity. It's huge.
Paramount. You mentioned the Amazing Amy books. That's like the prototype, isn't it? This mold she can't escape.
But it goes beyond just public image, right? It's about how we curate ourselves, even in private, in relationships.
Exactly. The masks we wear every day.
Yeah.
And tied right into that is the commentary on media and public perception.
Oh, the media portrayal is scathing.
Flynn gives this really biting critique of how easily narratives get shaped, sensationalized.
Amy's case is the perfect example of that missing white woman syndrome phenomenon.
Absolutely. And characters like Ellen Abbott, the TV host.
She just embodies how quickly public opinion can swing based on a compelling story, not necessarily facts.
It's kind of scary watching Nick's public image transform so rapidly.
From grieving husband to #1 suspect.
Then back to sympathetic figure, all driven by these media cycles.
Fleeting public sentiment. And then there's the whole gender dynamics angle. Marriage itself.
Amy's cool girl monologue. It's become iconic for a reason.
It just dissects those unspoken pressures on women in relationships so incisively.
Yeah, the expectation to be effortlessly cool, low maintenance, into all the same things as the guy.
While suppressing your own needs or feelings.
And the novel really portrays marriage, or at least this marriage, less as a partnership and more as a battleground.
A power struggle.
Definitely. Power struggles, manipulation, a constant vying for control. Control of each other, control of the narrative of their life.
That tension is just palpable all the way through.
You feel it constantly. And you mentioned the money issues earlier.
Right. The economic anxiety, we can't really overlook that.
No, the recession, their financial problems, it's clearly a catalyst. It erodes things between them.
The move to Missouri, the loss of her trust fund money, it definitely shifts the power dynamics.
Adds another layer of resentment and complexity.
So if you look at the big picture, these themes, identity, media, marriage, money, they're reinforced by recurring ideas, motifs.
Like performance. The idea of performance and manipulation runs through everything.
Every interaction seems calculated.
An attempt to control how things look, how information flows.
And that massive mid-novel twist just throws gasoline on all of it.
It really does. It changes everything. Amy's planning? It's meticulous.
Audacious, even.
Both shocking and, you have to admit, kind of darkly impressive in its execution.
It forces you back to square one regarding her motivations and Nick's role in it all.
His passivity, maybe his complicity, it makes you reconsider that too.
Which leads to the big questions, doesn't it? Why? Why does Amy go to such extreme lengths?
What's really driving her? Is it just revenge for Nick's cheating and how he treated her?
Or is it something deeper, maybe related to that amazing Amy pressure cooker she grew up in?
It feels like a combination, maybe? A potent mix?
Betrayal, definitely. A massive need to control her own story, finally.
And maybe even this really twisted desire to force Nick into being the person she thinks he should be.
Through some incredibly messed up methods, yeah. Which brings us to the ending.
Or the resolution, if you can even call it that. It's more like an unsettling aftermath.
Deeply chilling is the word I'd use. Amy comes back, engineers it all.
And Nick decides to stay. He makes a conscious choice.
That's the kicker. And the pregnancy.
Oh, the pregnancy at the end, it's incredibly disturbing. It's like the ultimate trap.
Binding Nick to her completely, it seems inescapable.
Their relationship, by the end, is basically built on mutual deception.
And this really perverse codependent understanding they seem to reach.
Yeah. It makes you really question why Nick stays. Is it just obligation? The baby.
Or is this something darker the novel hints at?
Yeah.
Like maybe he recognizes something of himself in her manipulation.
A kind of twisted compatibility.
Possibly. It certainly throws the typical happy ending out the window.
And that refusal of a neat ending really highlights the book's significance, I think.
How so?
Well, it had a huge impact on the whole domestic thriller genre. Sparked tons of discussion.
Especially about its portrayal of gender, right?
Yeah.
And having such a morally complex female lead.
Exactly. It moved way beyond simple heroes and villains. Amy is something else entirely.
Absolutely. It's a novel that just sticks with you, makes you think long after you put it down.
Definitely leaves a mark.
So to kind of wrap up our deep dive into Gone Girl, we've explored how Flynn uses those unreliable narrators and that game-changing twist.
Masterfully done.
To really dissect the complexities of modern marriage, the power of constructed identities, how pervasive and manipulative that can be.
And that sharp critique of media and public perception, how volatile it all is.
Yeah. It's this unsettling but utterly compelling picture of a relationship built on secrets, on performance.
And its impact on popular culture, you just can't deny it.
For sure. So if you want to delve deeper into this really intricate and, let's face it, thought-provoking story, grab a copy of Gone Girl. There's a link in the description.
It's worth the read, even if you've seen the movie. The book has extra layers.
Definitely. And be sure to subscribe to Books and Bytes for more insightful explorations into the world of literature.
And maybe leave you with this thought. Consider the narratives in your own life, your own relationships. How much of what you see, what you believe, might just be a carefully constructed story, whether it's yours or someone else's.